what are your favorite things to do outdoors?
Basically anything outdoors, whether it be, this last spring I started getting into fly fishing and tying my own flies and that kind of stuff. So now I'm going down another path that I haven't gone down before, but pretty much anything outdoors: hunting, fishing, hiking, shed hunting, which is, the deer lose their antlers,
Sure.
Later in the season, and then in the spring you go out looking for them, and kind of gotten into that hobby, and just pretty much anything to get outside, because I can't stand being inside for very long. So
is this something that is sort of in your blood from growing up in northern Minnesota, or is it something that you've picked up since you got here to Bemidji?
No, it's very traditional. Where I'm from the Iron Range, and pretty much everybody grows up hunting, fishing, doing that kind of stuff. But for some reason, it's been a passion of mine. I haven't really lost touch with it. A lot of players that I've grown up with that have gone on to play hockey elsewhere don't really stick with it, and then they come back and it's not really, part of their build anymore. And for me, I tried to stick with it as much as I could. I lived in Green Bay. I hunted there. My first year I didn't hunt there, and I kind of lost touch with it, and I didn't like that. So then my second year I started bow hunting there, and then my third year in North Iowa, that was a good experience. I got a lot of hunting in there, a lot of free time, so it was good to stick with it.
Obviously, playing at Bemidji State, like the other places that you've been, being nestled in northern Minnesota in the lake and woods obviously has its advantages.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right on campus, you can walk, 100 feet, you're on the lake, and that's definitely a plus for me, because I have my boat in my yard. I can just pretty much hop on the lake at any time. Actually, last week I was up, I think, at 5 o'clock, and I was in my duck blind. Actually, had to get up early, sat, shot a few ducks, had to get to class by 10 o'clock, had a test, and then obviously the day starts with hockey after that. So it's, if I can fit that time in, I definitely do. It makes for a long day, but it's definitely worth it.
Is there anybody on the team that you take to go hunting, or is there a group of you that together go do things?
More in the winter. It's easier to get more people to go, because it's just kind of a fun time to go out and sit on the ice.
Sure.
And you don't really need a boat or anything like that. You can just go sit on the ice. But my roommate, Jamie McQueen, he'll come out every once in a while. I try to get as many people as I can, but a lot of them just don't understand it. It's not, they didn't grow up with it, so it's not, traditional for them.
Is there anybody that you call, back in your childhood, learning from grandparents or uncles or dads? Is there somebody that you would call your favorite hunting partner?
Yeah, it's definitely, I'd go with my dad, number one, and it's a close second or first with my brother. I mean, the three of us we're equally as passionate. We have the same mindset when we go into the woods. It's not run and gun. We really like to think about what we're doing. It's not just go build this big stand up in a tree. Sometimes we like to walk. We like to, try to think about what we're doing before we do it. And they're pretty much the only two I really trust in the woods as much as myself. What
is it about a hunt that has driven that passion in you? Is it stalking? Is it, what part of the hunt is it for you?
To be honest, for me, it's in the winter I eat lots of game.
Sure.
I mean, that's basically my main source of protein. Obviously, playing hockey, you need a lot of protein.
Uh-huh.
That's really what drives me deep inside. Obviously, there's a love and a passion and the sport of it. But growing up, my parents always, instilled in me, you eat what you kill.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's pretty much driven it. Obviously, it's sport and all that too.
Do you have a top secret family recipe? Is there something that is, what's your favorite meal to make?
Most recently it's been, and a lot of people will probably disagree with me, but it's duck. I have a little recipe for duck that actually my fiance and I have come to absolutely love. And before that, it was kind of, duck is a very gamey, not a lot of people can eat it. Now I found a recipe that actually makes it so delicious and so.
Is that something that's becoming part of the passion, actually you preparing the food?
Yeah, and that's half of it. I mean, actually it's more than half of it. I enjoy eating and making it taste as good as it can possibly be, and that makes it so much more fun to go out and actually shoot something.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite hunting memory?
There's so many, but I would have to say I was 16 years old. I shot the biggest deer of my life, and my brother at that time was playing in the Elite League, which is a league here in Minnesota. And my whole family was down for that. It was the All-Star weekend, and I was by myself. And it was probably the coldest opener of deer season I've ever seen. It was below zero, and we had about a foot of snow. And opening morning, I went out by myself, drove up to the hunting shack, all that, and I shot the biggest deer of my life. It's still the biggest deer of my life, and that was definitely right at the top.
Was it big weight or size or rack?
Both. Yeah, it was over 200 pounds. It was a 10-pointer. So
cool. So that's probably your trophy story as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. If there's one hunt that you could plan, or one that you dream of, even as far as being some sort of safari or something like that, what's your ideal hunt?
Bow hunting, any big game, probably moose up in the Yukon or Alaska or somewhere up there.
Wow. Cool. That would be intimidating.
Yeah. Well, actually it's my dad's cousin, my second cousin. He was a guide for over 20 years up in Alaska. So if I could coax him into bringing me out sometime,
right,
that'd probably be right at the top.
If you had to pick one season, hunting, fishing, any type of game, and you had to stick with it for the rest of your life, could you pick one?
Easily. Steelhead run, North Shore Lake Superior every year.
Now, a lot of the things that we've talked about already have sort of put you in a kind of a situation of solitude. Is there something about that drives the passion too, of just being in the woods by yourself, time to think, enjoying nature and creation, or whatever it is? Is that part of the?
Oh, that above all else is number one. Is being able to get away from everything and unwind. I mean, obviously hockey is very intense, very demanding on both physically and mentally. And you get up early in the day, it's hockey, go, 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 go. And then after hockey, there's a release point, and you can kind of just go out and relax and just kind of unwind. And I mean, if you do shoot something, that's great, but it's the fact that you get to get out there, sure, and just relax. I mean, that's amazing.
You're a senior. Before too long, this chapter of your life will be over, and your class specifically has been through a tremendous transformation in the program, and you go from the glass CHA championships, then NCAA tournaments, Frozen Four, now this building. What could you encapsulate from your career here to this point? What will your favorite memories be, do you think?
Frozen Four was number one. I mean, the fact that we got to do that our freshman year, a lot of us freshmen were able to contribute to that run to the Frozen Four. I mean, that was just amazing. And if we were able to do that again this year, it would that'd be icing on the cake.
Sure. I mean, you've always contributed a significant amount of points, but this season more than any, it seems like you're being counted on more, especially on the power play, to get some point production. Do you have any specific goals for yourself or for the team for this year?
Team-wise, obviously, we want to win the WCHA. We would like to, or at least be, competitive, very competitive, and in the top 6 of the WCHA, and obviously make it to the NCAA tournament, team-wise. And then individual, just keep playing the way I'm playing and contributing and trying to get more points and trying to, help, obviously, on the power play, because power play is so big in winning games these days. So if I could keep doing that, that'd be great.
Maybe just tell me what your major is and where you see yourself in 5 years.
My major is industrial technology with a construction management emphasis. In 5 years, I hope I'm still playing hockey, to be honest. But I'm also very passionate about architecture and drafting and stuff like that. So I see a career more along that path if I could, but who knows?
How do you think you could work your passion for hunting into a professional career, work it alongside of your professional career? Have you thought about that at all?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a big thing I think about a lot, is when I'm done with hockey or beyond hockey or whatever. I'm still going to have all my hunting and fishing and all my passions outside of hockey. So I need to live in an area where I can do all that kind of stuff. And Duluth, my fiance lives in Duluth right now, and that makes it easy because my passion for like trout fishing rivers and hunting is only an hour away up north to Hibbing. So it's I'll be able to do everything that I want to do.
The last question I have for you then is tie into the beginning. You talked a little bit about your fly fishing and learning how to tie flies. How does that come about? How did you get into that?
Well, for almost my entire life, I fished solely for consumption of walleyes or crappies or something that I could eat.
Mm-hmm. And
my dad and I, early one spring, we were fishing, and I caught the biggest fish of my life. I caught a 20-plus pound northern. And beyond that, I thought, northerns, I don't really care about them. And then after that drove me to want to pursue bigger fish. And then I just got into the idea of, well, it'd probably be funner if I chased them with big flies and a fly rod. And I had never done it before, so I, looked online how to cast, do all that. And then I went and bought a rod at Gander Mountain. I just started doing, the cast. And then all of a sudden it became second nature. And now I spent my entire summer chasing anything with fins with my fly rod.